Hey, y'all, the Mariners are above 500. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Sogcast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Matt.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm Owen.
And yeah, Mariners above 500. Let's go. 20 and 19 on the season.
We did it, finally.
It's a winning ball club.
It is.
We can be happy now.
It is easier. It's so funny that just like that little hump is of, below 500, at 500, being above 500, like really can change your whole mood on the team. It's such a little thing, but it definitely makes you breathe easier.
On the team and in the garage.
That's right.
I mean, we've been pissed for weeks. Just sad baseball boys. But we're good now. Don't worry.
Winning solves everything, like we've been talking about.
Yep.
That helps us. That
is the truest across all sports, across everything, that winning literally solves everything. For a quick Seahawks anecdote, with the Legion of Boom, when the Seahawks were really, really good in 14 and 15 and stuff, no one heard any shit about locker room antics and stuff like that. And then 17, 18, they started to lose. And now all of a sudden the Legion of Boom is falling apart and people are beefing and people are leaking stuff to the media.
Yeah.
And you saw that with the Cardinals this year, with the Cardinals having a rough season, and then stuff gets leaked to the media and it gets kind of bad blood in the water. So
it gets tense and there's a lot of shit slinging and in the clubhouse from the media. Just too much going on. And we saw a tiny bit of that with the Mariners, but we didn't go down that path, We didn't take the slippery slope. We kept plodding onwards and hovering around 500. And here we are above 500. Even if it's just one game right now, does feel good.
Another great takeaway is that we will never be last with the A's in our division.
I mean, that's one piece of cushion you got is we are not finishing in last place this year.
Not to mention, we are keeping up with the Houston Astros, with the Angels. We're right there with them, and we're still only 4 games behind the Rangers. And it does suck that we dropped the series to them on a couple close games, but I mean, here we are. We split our last homestand, 3-3. We beat the Houston Astros, and we lost to the Rangers. And those are the 2 teams in our division we really want to beat. I think we held our own. We don't see them again until September, so we don't know what kind of team they're going to look like later in the season. And it's kind of disappointing that we didn't capitalize on the Rangers series, where we were playing competitive games, just couldn't capitalize on offense.
What sucks about the Rangers series is that the Texas Rangers have one of the most high-profile offenses in baseball right now. I think they're averaging something like 6 or 7 runs a game.
Yeah.
Their offense is through the roof. And the Mariners have top 5 pitching in all of baseball. They held that high-profile offense to a total of 6 runs over a 3-game series. And on paper, that's amazing until you find out the Mariners lost two of those 3 games and dropped the series to only holding them to 6 runs. If you look on paper, any team that holds the highest profile offense to 2 runs a game on average, and you can't beat them, that is a problem. And that has been the problem, is that the Mariners haven't been able to hit the damn ball early on into the season. Now, on another side of that, the Rangers are a very, very good ball club. And the Mariners were able to keep pace with them. And in their one win, they did it because they shut them out, which is also crazy. A team averaging 7 runs a game and they get shut out is phenomenal. But it also goes to show, now that the Mariners are in Detroit and playing a lesser team in the Detroit Tigers, they've been beaten up on them the first 2 games in the series, which is what you should do.
Yeah, we lost the 2 games in the Texas Rangers series by 1 run, 2-1 in game 1 and 4-3 in game 3. And man, we're right in those games. And I think sometimes it hurts more when you're in it and it's close and we can't scrape across the run to at least tie the game or have the game tied and have an opportunity to go ahead and just, strike out and blunder, like throw the whole thing away. But yeah, it almost hurts more than getting blown out by the best offense, because the Mariners should be able to win that game. Like we see that the team is good enough. There's the potential there to take those games, but we, it feels like we threw them away. It feels like we just lost because we squandered our opportunity.
With such stellar pitching and getting no run support, it's so sad. But we're doing a little better. The hits are up in general. I mean, Caballero's hitting. Love that. I keep saying he's the third best player on the Mariners right now.
Can we put Caballero at second, like just starting, please?
I mean, he's getting his work in. They're kind of platooning right now between him and Wong. Wong has also come around a little bit, not as much as we'd like to see, but I think right now they're kind of the Mariners are doing a good balance of giving them both playing time at second to see who's really going to come through and shine. And sure enough, right now that is Caballero.
Yeah, and it's nice because the flexibility with Wong being a switch hitter, they're going to have him hit from the left side of the plate most of the time. Like, they kind of platoon those guys, and that's the rotation we have. It's kind of nice. That's what Sam Haggerty is good for, too. He's a switch hitter, but he hasn't really been in the mix after his concussion so much. And Caballero is shining. I mean, in the last 30 games, which is all of his games this season, 43 at-bats, 12 hits, 4 RBIs, 3 walks, 11 strikeouts. So, I mean, he swings. We know he's aggressive. He's hitting the ball, line drives into the outfield. He's stolen 3 bases. He's hitting .279. So to compare that with his last week, he's 8 for 20, 4 runs, 3 RBIs, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, hitting .400 with a .450 slug. Like, that's pretty dang impressive for this rookie to be filling in for a guy like Dylan Moore, this is more than I would have expected from Dylan Moore, to be honest.
Maybe this is just like my solo opinion, but sometimes I think like maybe it's just an isolated issue with the Mariners, or it could be like league-wide, but like I feel like a lot of GMs just put a lot of stock into like switch hitting or situational hitting when like Colton Wong's a switch hitter. Cal Raleigh's also a switch hitter. They're both hitting like shit, kind of. Colton Wong for sure. I know Cal Raleigh. I mean, Cal Raleigh's average is always.
He's had his struggles early on this season,
and a big, I guess, proponent against Kelenic was that he couldn't hit lefties, but he's been hitting pretty damn good against lefties, and it's just like all of these like situational type of hitting is just been kind of turned on its head, and it's just like. Yeah, Colton Wong's a switch hitter, but if he's hitting shitty from both sides, like why not just put Caballero in there?
Yeah, and I think we have been doing that more often. And, I think it is what you're talking about there. Like, good point about they're putting too much stock in the lefty-righty matchups. It's like, no, just play the hot guy right now. Play the guy who can like get the job done in the situation they're handed.
Yeah.
For sure.
And that's a big issue that we've had with Scott Service in the past, where we felt he is so, like, play the matchup instead of trusting his gut. And, we do think that he is improving on that aspect, but that is some stuff that has plagued the Mariners in the past where, we've had games where a hitter is like 3 for 4 that game. I think it happened once with Trammell, like last year. He was like 3 for 4 in a game, and he didn't like the lefty matchup, so he pinch hit for him. And it's like, why? That's the kind of like dumb over managing where you're like, oh, well, on paper, this guy, because he hits lefties 5 points better, we should have him in this slot. And it's like, no, this guy is clearly seeing the ball well today. He's hitting it well. Let him have his damn at bat. And, Scott has definitely gotten better with that and bullpen management, which was another big issue for him in the past. But he has made his improvements, I think. And yeah, it's still, I think that's just kind of his personality of just trying to play these matchups and putting so much stock into switch hitters. But like Owen said, yeah, if you hit like shit from the right and the left, doesn't really matter that you can hit from both sides.
Right, yeah. I think you're right, Scott. We've seen issues at times where, like you've said before, Patrick, he's trying to get too cute with it. It's, trying to make those statistical analysis type moves from the front office and behind the scenes. But as fans, we know that, like play the player, not the stat. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
just even to bring up a huge example, last year putting in Robbie Ray instead of a guy like Eric Swanson
Yeah.
to face Jordan, like that's the kind of thing where I think Scott has matured a lot, and he's gone through a lot of high leverage situations in this last year. And when things don't feel right, like on the team, when the pitching is dominant and then we lose by one because the bullpen not per se, but like blows it in quotations. They don't necessarily blow it. It's just that we didn't hit the ball. Like, we got to be scoring more than 1 or 2 runs. Like, look at our lineup. On paper, our lineup scores runs. So, I don't know. But lately, I have seen the Mariners take better at bats, especially this Detroit series. They took the day off, traveled to Detroit. They came out looking more patient. They came out looking for pitches to hit that are in the zone to like drive the ball around the park. Everyone knows Comerica Park is huge and that you're not going to be boosting home runs out of that place. So maybe the team, the analytics department had a discussion about like, hey, we have to hit line drives. Like, stop trying to pop the ball in the air and strike out. Like, we need to be patient, hit balls in the zone that we can drive into the gap or like just through the infield, line drives. You don't need to be trying to do too much. And I see that carrying over from the Texas series into this Detroit series, where there's a really big difference in approach at the plate from everybody.
And speaking of other changes, on the last episode, we talked about, is it finally time to move Julio out of the first or the leadoff spot? Was it time to move him down in the order? Because clearly he wasn't being as productive in the leadoff slot. And sure enough, the very next game, they had Julio batting down in the lineup. Now, does that mean Scott listens to our pod and takes stock in what we say? Absolutely.
What's up, Scott?
100%.
100%. He clearly listens and takes what we have to say into account. So appreciate that. But
I'm sure he played the little snippet for the team. Like, look at what these true Mariner fans feel, boys. Like, come on,
You gotta
feel
win
it in
it
your
for
heart.
them.
Yeah, for the Sogcast.
another part of our discussion, though, is we asked who would be the leadoff hitter. And Owen and I were pretty adamant that it shouldn't be JP because we liked how well he was hitting in the 9 slot, the 7 slot, in the bottom of the order. And we thought that moving him up would be an issue, and we were against it. And Owen and I were both extremely wrong. Very, very wrong.
To our defense, JP was in the leadoff last year and the year before, and I can't remember which year it was. Was it last year, Matt?
So last year
struggled.
is when Julio came up and started taking over the 1 role. Like, when Julio wasn't there, JP was there. So he didn't get like the full run at leadoff spot in 2022. But in 2021, he was our leadoff man. And he did do pretty well. Like, I can rip through his career numbers as leadoff and the 2021 numbers. So career, he's hitting 259 with a 337 OBP
In the leadoff
in
spot.
the leadoff spot. And that's over 839 plate appearances. And
It's a good chunk.
yeah, he's hit 9 homers, 38 doubles, 192 hits. He's stolen 8 bases.
That's shocking right
Yeah.
there.
And he's walked 78 times out of those at-bats too. So he just tries to get on base. He gets on base. That's what he knows how to do. And then in
JP Crawford, best Mariner.
Best Mariner.
Best Mariner. JP's really putting everything together. We know how good he can be in the field, especially when he's fully healthy and not feeling something. Like last year, I think he was playing through a couple little nagging injuries, and he's that guy. He wants to be out there every day. 2021, he had a really good year in the leadoff spot. 500 plate appearances. He hit 281 with a 390 slug. I mean, he was doing it. He was walking, but mostly hitting. 126 hits, 42 walks, 83 strikeouts. I mean, he was getting it done in the 1 spot is what I'm getting at. He was better than average 281, that's what we want to see from JP Crawford, and that's where I think he should be. I even talked about it preseason. I know it's shooting high, but that guy's so talented, and we've seen him make improvements hitting the ball around the field, especially trying to beat the shift, and now he can use it to his advantage because he's just gotten better at seeing pitches, taking the most professional at bat and spraying the ball around the field, getting on base.
He sees the shit out of pitches. He walks a lot.
He has a 47 speed in the show. He's so fucking slow.
I don't believe, that's kind of unbelievable.
He is slow though. It's shocking how slow he is. Like when you see him run, you're like, dude, why are you not faster? But I mean, yeah, he's not gonna steal 40 bases in a season. That's fine. But despite the only issue I have, I don't necessarily like JP and Ty France in the 1-2 slot just because of the lack of speed. Which
I think that's a fair criticism.
Yeah, and it's not saying that they don't have the hitting ability to be in the 1 and 2
They
slots.
clearly do.
You're right. Especially Ty France is now on a 9-game hitting streak.
Yeah,
he is 9-10, something like that. He's definitely turned it around after struggling through all of April, pretty much. So that's nice to see. But yeah, just with the kind of speed thing, I would almost recommend having a faster guy in the 2 slot, just so you don't run the risk of so many early double plays. Especially if JP gets on, he doesn't have a ton of wheels. Ty France hits, even if Ty France hits a weak grounder, he does not have the speed to beat it out to first, and JP can't. I mean, he'll hustle, but he doesn't have the speed to get to second quickly, and you can find yourself with a lot of early double plays, which is detrimental.
With that idea, I could definitely see like JP Crawford, Jared Kelnick.
That's what I was thinking.
Is JK fast?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's fast.
I mean, I've seen him in the outfield. I guess he has a couple stolen bases, but he's also gotten caught stealing a couple times.
Yeah, he has.
I think that's more so not even lack of speed, just as still being new and into his second year, still just not getting the best read on pitchers, like when to make his move and when to break. And also he got picked off the other day, so he leaning too much
By lefty Matt Boyd.
Yeah.
Mariners legend.
Mariners legend Matt Boyd, also hometown hero.
Also got pulled in the second.
Also double agent Matt Boyd.
Double agent Matt Boyd.
Thank you, Matt.
Speaking of double agents, Teoscar Hernandez is the worst hitter in baseball.
Has been, yeah. Oh
He
my god.
Has he been statistically the worst hitter? or is
He's
that just-
currently
He has
on
the most strikeouts.
he
the
is
whole league?
currently
Yeah.
on pace to break the record for strikeouts in a season.
Who has the record right now?
I'm actually not sure, but I think it's like 223. It's probably
Trout.
No.
Trout strikes out at least 100 times.
He's
a
nowhere
year.
near leading the league in strikeouts
Yeah.
in any year, I guarantee you.
yeah. I mean, Trout does strike out a lot, but also he hits the ball more often than not.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was someone like Chris Davis, or I'll pull it up.
Yeah, Chris
figure it out. I want to
Davis.
know who it is.
So, in the meantime, I have Ty France's numbers up from the last 7 games, 15 games. So, let's go 7 games. He's hitting .444 with a .593 slug,
Hey.
with a .500 on base percentage. That's a almost 1.1 OPS. Like, he's killing it. He's only struck out 3 times in 27 at bats.
Sick, dude.
Yeah, he's on the ball. Like, he went from 0 to hero. It was crazy. He was doing absolutely nothing. He had like a 1 for 26, 27 streak, and then he's put together this 9-10 game streak. He's just seeing and hitting the ball. He stopped swinging at the high riding fastball and started getting a pitch to hit.
Yeah, April was not a friend of Ty France.
Matt, can you look up Teoscar's stats from last year? I feel like last year he was a banger for the Jays. I feel like I went to like 2 or 3 series we played them, and I feel like I personally watched him hit like 3 or 4 home runs off us.
Teoscar's a really good hitter. He's been good for 4 or 5 years. Like,
he
I'll
hits a
check
lot
it
of
out.
home runs when I play him on the show.
Yeah, dude, he's a home run hitter.
Also, the leader for strikeouts in a season happened in 2009. Mark Reynolds. And I was right on the number, 223.
Dang, pretty close.
And
You did say you thought it might be Chris Davis. He's the third.
He is third. Also in the number 2 spot, pod favorite Adam Dunn. Love Adam
Home
Dunn.
run or bust.
It's for real.
All or nothing.
Literally.
Where's Zanino on that list
I don't think
Oh.
he's played long enough to really
to qualify?
He's played
Or
some
I
full
guess
seasons.
I mean I guess this isn't this is a full season.
Mark Reynolds is on there twice.
Oh, Mark.
He got 211
Was-
in 2010. That's back-to-back years.
Yeah.
He just stunk
Olo
it
just
up.
did nothing but strike out.
Yeah.
Also, he's
Ouch.
in the 14 slot for 2008.
Ooh.
Yikes.
Mark.
This guy. Mark, what are you doing?
Come on, Mark.
Hey, he was
See
in
the
the
ball,
show.
baby.
He was in the show. You got to give him that. How many tanks he hit, though?
I don't know. In 2011, he struck out 196 times.
All right, so Teoscar Hernandez. We
got a
can
little
get back
sidetracked.
here.
Yeah.
Owen.
Mark, come on, man. Figure it out.
I'm gonna title this episode "Mark Reynolds."
Sorry,
LOL.
Mark. Teoscar Hernandez last year, he hit 267, 491 slug, over 800 OPS. He hit 35 doubles, 25 bombs, stole 6 bases. Wow. I mean,
Damn, only
dude had
25.
133 hits. He's been a masher. He hit 296, 289 the 2 years before that, 19 and 20, or 20 and 21. He's been a masher since 2020.
Also, I've been reading online from Toronto Blue Jays fans who said it's actually pretty common, even in Toronto when he was having those good numbers, that he notoriously also started his season slow. End of March, all of April, even like May has been normal, like
Historically.
struggle bus time for him. And he's keeping on track with that. I do think he's doing slightly worse this year. And obviously his strikeout numbers are way too high. And he's been in the league too long to just be taking such poor at bats. But he did launch one today. So, I mean, he still has the occasional pop. He's got to be making more contact. You can't just be out there swinging at junk.
Do you guys ever maybe this is just me, but you just mentioned 25 bombs and you're like, oh, that's pretty good. It's hard for me to separate like a normal season of like 20, 25, 30 bombs from what Judge did.
Yeah.
It's like that isn't even half of what that man did last year. And it's just like that number that Judge hit is just so it's a record. Like it's so unreachable for like 99 100% of players currently. And it's just like, but it's still like, if he did it, maybe a Mariners can do it. But 25 is a respectable amount of home runs. But still,
I mean,
it's
I
just-
think anything over 20 is nice on the season. Obviously, you have some guys that you would like to see hit a little bit more than that. Someone like Suarez, who isn't gonna get a lot of just a lot of base hits throughout the season. He's got like a little bit more power. So you'd like to see him in like the 25 to 30 range. But yeah, I'd say, and I mean, some for like less power hitters, like if JP hit 10 home runs on the season, that would be nuts.
I'd be so happy.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah. Cause he's not that kind of hitter,
He's
which
not
is fine.
hitting 20. Yeah.
Oh yeah. God no.
So Teoscar, he's struck out about 150 times the last 2 seasons, 148, 152. This year, already over 50 times. So he's already struck out like over a third of the times he
That he
did
does
last
in a normal
2
fucking
seasons.
month.
So
Jesus
in a
Christ.
month.
Watch out, Mark.
So
We're
I think
coming for
he's
ya.
approaching 200 this year. But I mean, last year, Eugenio Suarez, I think he struck out 200 times.
I believe it.
But
yeah.
look at what kind of damage he did. I think it's the type of baseball player they
right.
are.
It's like a balance. It's like, yeah, Gino struck out so much, but he also was like very productive for the offense. And so like,
and his defense helped.
and it's a lot easier to be like, oh yeah, who gives a shit if he struck out 200 times or whatever? We don't even care. But like with Teoscar, it's like you are striking out a lot and not doing a lot, and so it's
Yeah,
very
he doesn't have a lot to
it's
back it
very
up.
noticeable.
It's a
Yeah,
prove
that's
it.
true.
It's a prove it situation for Teoscar right now. We know what he can do. He's done it against us. He's been one of the best hitters in the league for 4 years. Like everyone knows what he's capable of, and we're not seeing it. So he's really in a prove it mode right now. And not to mention, we have him on a 1-year deal. It's a contract year for Teoscar. So he's maybe pushing himself to like get paid big. Maybe he wants to hit those bombs to show everyone, like, look what I can do, but it's kind of backfiring a little bit.
Yeah, and that is a big thing because, like, I mean, we've seen it time and time again of someone in a contract year and they ball out all season because they know they're going to get that fat paycheck at the end of the
Kyle
year.
Seager. I was
Seager.
thinking the same thing.
Mitch
Oh
my
Haniger.
my hero, honestly.
Haniger sold out for power last year too. I mean,
Yeah,
he
when
had
he was on the
35
field.
bombs.
He didn't miss that much time last year.
Yeah, he did.
A little bit.
Maybe it was the
He
year
had COVID
before.
and then hurt his ankle. He like broke
Oh
his
yeah,
ankle.
he like hit a foul ball off his foot.
But
like,
until
in
then,
like
he was
the
on
first
fire.
round.
Also, the
Yeah,
one
yeah.
year he ruptured a testicle. That was rough.
I mean, he's back and playing for the Giants right now, as far as I know. I heard his comeback, but I haven't looked up how he's doing yet. I might do that right now.
Also, speaking of, you know who's playing again? Known glass boy, James Paxton. He just
Yeah.
recently had his first start since 2021. And actually, he pitched pretty well. I think it was something like 6 innings, and like 7 or 8 strikeouts.
2 earnings, something like that. 2
Yeah.
earned runs.
Yeah, so, good for him. And it'll last, maybe
2
40
more.
more pitches before he goes on the IL for another year and a half.
Well, I think his next start is going to be against us if it lines up right. Like, we might see him pitch against us and see what happens.
He's
We
going to
might
get
see
a
him fall apart
hangnail
out
and not pitch.
I mean, dude, seriously, that dude is
gonna duck
Charmin soft. He should be a spokesman for Charmin.
Yeah.
Charmin Ultra, because, dude, Templi, bud.
Yeah.
Some people just stay hurt. Franklin Gutierrez, he got like hurt a bunch. But-
Franklin, though, it was so many freak accidents. Like, he ended up having, like, IBS or whatever, or, like, all these intestinal problems that really derailed him. And I remember he missed a ton of time, and he came back in his first game back. He gets a single, and he's leading off at first, and the pitcher throws a pickoff over to first, and it hit him right in the face and, like, broke his cheekbone or something. And it's just like, damn, bro. Some people, like, the injury bug is real, and some people just can't catch a break.
I never even thought about breaking a cheekbone, dude.
Yeah.
That orbital around your eye.
Ah.
Woo!
Gross.
That's rough. Yeah. Anyway, Mitch Haniger, though, he's playing, but he's been 0 for quite a few times this last week. Lots of strikeouts. It's taking him time to get back. But, hey, I mean, do what you can, Mitch. He's back on the field. We'll see James Paxton again.
That'll be kind of fun. I hope the Mariners light up Paxton.
That would be
Me too.
excellent.
Kellenic, 5 for 5, 3 home runs.
I like it.
Stamp it.
Yeah.
So, hey, our pitching has been amazing. Bryce Miller.
Bryce Miller.
Oh my God. This kid is electric. His stuff is off the charts. Like when I look at the Savant page, it doesn't have all of the stats on the sliders yet, but like when you look at his pitch spin, like it's so far above the average on the scrolling graph. The thing is, the whole hump on the graph, like it's past the league average. The whole entire thing, even the low side of his spin rate is over league average.
Also, for all you Mariner fans out there who might have not been paying as close of attention the last couple weeks, the Mariners recently brought up rookie pitcher Bryce Miller, and he has been absolutely lights out in his 3 starts. He is just completely blown away. Like, I mean, one of the most dominant pitching performances of all time.
Yeah, so he's got the lowest whip.
Walks, hits, in innings pitched.
Yep. He's got the lowest whip through his first 3 career starts in MLB history. His whip is 421, and he's the best to ever do it.
Yeah,
He's the best pitcher in baseball. There's another crazy one.
.421.
Yeah,
That- yeah,
0.42, meaning he lets on less than 1/2 runners per inning
Mhm.
on average.
Usually you'll see most whips be around 1-ish. They'll walk a batter an inning, give up a hit an inning. Bad pitchers, it will be raised up, obviously. But usually you'd say about 1.5 is about normal.
Yeah, 1 is the really good mark.
Yeah.
Less
and he
than
is
half.
less than half. It is absolutely insane what this rookie has been able to do on the mound.
The dude is absolutely nuts. He's also the second Mariners pitcher with a sub-1 ERA. through his first 3 career starts.
Who's
Hell
the
yeah.
who's the other?
The other one is Felix Hernandez. Felix
Yeah.
Hernandez had a .86 ERA, and Bryce Miller has a .47 ERA.
That's crazy.
Dang.
It is insane. There's so much to be excited about, Mariners fans, with this young Bryce Miller. And it's just so crazy. Again, we bring up George Kirby, absolutely dominant. Logan Gilbert is now in his 3rd year. He's a dominant pitcher. And now Bryce Miller, again, the Mariners know how to develop pitching. And this guy is the cream of the crop. It is so insane. Tune in to his next start. It's going to be amazing.
He came out of Double-A, Arkansas.
Not even seeing time in Tacoma.
He didn't even hit Triple-A. So we just pulled him up because he was doing well down there.
And Robbie Ray got hurt, so
Yeah.
we needed a spot starter.
And Easton McGee got hurt. He was our guy, and then we had to go deeper and pulled up Bryce. And dude, it's gold. It's gold. This guy, he doesn't look phased out there. He doesn't look phased. He doesn't have like crazy arm extension, but boy, can he rip off any pitch. Like any pitch that you can almost hear it through the TV. I swear to God. Like he throws a pitch, and I'm like, in my head, I can hear that thing just eating. But he's a high spin kind of guy, like that riding fastball up in the zone. He puts a lot of balls in the air, which is a little bit scary to see because you think hitters try to put balls in the air to do damage.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is, he's gonna get taken deep.
Yeah,
He's gonna get rocked on some of
hasn't
those.
yet,
He hasn't yet,
but
he is going to. I
yeah.
mean, it's just gonna happen.
he's gonna leave him right in the middle of the top of the zone, and but it's hard to hit those because there's such a high spin. Like it's counteracting gravity. The higher the spin on the ball is like counteracting gravity when you're throwing a 4-seam fastball. So it almost looks like that pitch is rising as a batter. They call it rise or ride. And the more spin is on it, even if it's in the zone, the harder it is to hit. That's why a guy like Framber Valdez is really good too. Because like that high spin rate with that nasty curveball, like if you're able to work more than just that fastball, you're going to be really good. And he's only walked one guy.
That's so crazy.
19 innings, 18 strikeouts, 1 walk, .42 whip, .45 ERA. And that 1 run came in the game against the A's, his debut, at the end of his like perfect bid.
Yeah, he was perfect through 5 in his debut. And even just his other game against Detroit 2 days ago, he went 7 scoreless innings. And I mean, this is a rookie, a fresh rookie. 3 starts in, and he's already going deep into ball games. We haven't seen really Castillo go that deep this year. Luis Castillo he's had some early season struggles. He's still, however, a very great pitcher, so his struggles aren't even as bad as most. But this guy Bryce Miller, man, I mean, this is the future, and it just popped up out of nowhere. It's insane.
And to think a guy like Brian Wu, is that his name?
Yeah.
He just had a perfect or no hit bid in the minors, and he's looking really good too. We have Emerson Hancock, Wu. We have like more guys that can still come up and
I mean, still Easton
fill a
McGee. He's
spot.
just he's got a little soggy arm or
flexor
something.
strain. Yeah, hopefully it's not an elbow thing. The same way that Robbie the same way that Robbie Ray's went.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we got dudes.
Yeah,
They're in the pipeline, dude.
What about Logan Gilbert absolutely dealing his last start? I thought he was going to throw a perfect game.
I really thought he would as well.
I was listening on the radio, and the vibes were good. I was trying not to pay attention, just to it's like, nope, it's normal. This is normal. Don't do anything different. Don't jinx it. Like I make any difference while I'm working and listening to the game. Like Logan was absolutely on fire. He struck out. How many guys he struck out? 9?
I think it was like 406, something like that.
Anyway,
I think so. Something like that.
7? I forget. He tied the record, the Mariners franchise record for consecutive strikeouts. And, dude, he was absolutely filthy. And then kind of got touched up after the Mariners put some runs up, and he had a long inning, and he came out, I think it was the 7th inning, and he started getting hit around a little bit and fell off. But I mean, our Logan Gilbert's looking amazing. George Kirby, we shut out the Texas Rangers. George Kirby went deep into that game.
Yep.
He was amazing, man. Like, our starting pitching is something else. And like you said, Patrick, Luis Castillo, even his slight struggles, like, he's a top-level pitcher.
Oh, yeah.
So his slight struggles are slight. I've noticed through his starts, like, the problem is he's not so sharp. He throws that thing in there and just hopes that his filth will do the work. You know what I mean? He's not necessarily placing it every time, and he has given up some big homers. But it always comes down to just that one situation where he gets beat, where he gives up the big homer. And the games where he's given up a home run are the games where he's struggled, but his numbers still look good. He still gives the team a chance to win when the offense is good. And like, for him, it is struggling. I want to see him do better than that and not get into the situation where he's getting behind in counts, walking a guy and giving up a homer, because that hurts a lot. But I will say he's still looking filthy, and he's going to be figuring it out. He's still going to strike out so many guys, and even if he walks a few, as long as he doesn't give up that one big hit, we're on track to win a game.
When I think of Castillo struggling, it reminds me of Eminem's words to Machine Gun Kelly. My biggest flops are your greatest hits. Even him doing bad is still better than the majority of pitchers in the league.
That's true.
It's hard for me to get like super excited about the pitching because it's like, you know, the last 2 games of Detroit aside, it's been a lot of like, you know, 3-hit, 4-hit ball games, 1 run, and it's just like I've seen this shit before. I've seen it with Felix where it's like he pitches a gem and it's like the 7th or 8th with like 2 hits, 1 run, and then we lose 1-0, and it's just like it's great that we have that pitching, but if we can't like. Am I just supposed to, even with like Castillo on the mound, it's like, oh, are we going to score or are we going to Felix him? And it's hard for me to like get super excited about what Kirby's doing, what Miller's doing, when it's just like Miller could throw literally a perfect game and we could still lose.
We Felixed Gilbert, didn't we?
We've done it like
oh
4
my
or
God.
5
We've
times
done it.
this season.
We Felixed Easton McGee in his first start. He didn't give up a hit till the 7th inning in his debut, and the Mariners lost it 1-0 in extra innings.
So if you've been listening, like, you know, the Mariners have been going through the woes. Like, we've been talking all about their struggles at the plate. I mean, I do see things heating up. Even though we lost the Texas series, I saw things turning around. We did a little lineup shakeup. Like, we shook up the whole order, and Julio was in the 6 or 7 hole? 6.
Yeah,
and then he was in the 3 hole. JP's leading off, and it feels normal. It still feels normal to see that lineup when it comes out. To me, it doesn't feel weird. As long as everyone's on board, and Julio has said, like, hey, like, whatever helps the team. He knows he's not performing well. He knows he's putting extra pressure on himself to perform well if he's still in that one spot. Like, they keep putting him there even though he's not getting it done. You might as well just shake things up and see what happens. It's a long season. I think he will be back in the 1 hole, but it's great to have someone like JP to fill in that spot for now until he can overcome his issues. I don't know what it is necessarily. Patrick, you brought up something about Julio, about how he wasn't at spring training.
Oh, so I've kind of kicked this idea around. We were all obviously very big on the WBC, the World Baseball Classic and stuff, and we think it's great for the players, for the fans, for everyone. However, now hindsight's 2020. Looking back, I really believe that Julio missing spring training in his 2nd year has led to the issues that he is now currently having at the start of the season. And the reason for that is because the major league season compared to the minors is so different. It's longer. It's a lot more quick and more distance traveled. Not saying that like Tacoma Rainiers don't travel all over the place and stuff, because they do. But the season is just, it's longer. It's more rough on your body and all this stuff. And so as his rookie year, playing his first major league season, that is now more games than he's ever played in his life in 1 year. And he has the off season, which was even shorter than normal because the Mariners did make the postseason. So you have a slightly shorter off season. And then now, instead of going to spring training and getting his body ready and prepared and going through that, he was playing in the WBC, and that is 100. I mean, everyone was playing to win. So now you're in full 100% game mode. You're not slowly working on things or trying to tweak stuff and get ready for the grind of the regular season. He was already grinding during that happen. And with more veterans, I think it's okay because they've had the experience of the long major league seasons under their belt. But for Julio going into his second year and skipping a good portion of spring training, I think is being detrimental to how he has started this year.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally see how that plays into, how well he's done this year. Last year, he played his heart out. He was a rookie. He was young. He played his heart out. I know that he has a lot of energy. Younger players can recover more quickly. He's definitely in shape. You know, he's very flexible and easily bounces back from any ailment or injury. But I will say that I've noticed this year, I don't really think it's anything mechanical. He still looks like he can swing the bat just fine. It's not like he's injured. It's not like he's dropping his whole backside and like missing badly. It's just that he hasn't been looking for that pitch to hit. You know, he's been over aggressive. He's been swinging at pitches that he's not letting the pitcher come to him with a mistake and taking advantage of that mistake. And he needs to take a step back, let the pitcher come to him with a pitch that they didn't spot very well, and he can take advantage of that. He's a guy who needs to find the pitch to hit because when he does damage with it. And we didn't see that. And I think in this Detroit series, he's been taking more first pitches in general, ball or strike, and on 1-1 counts where it really matters, like it can go to 1-2 and you feel like you're in a hole, but like he's been more patient and looking for the pitch to hit, working counts, getting deep into a count, because it's better to wear out the pitcher than to just swing at the first couple pitches that are somewhat close to the zone and think you can do damage on those, because you don't. Statistically, you do damage on the pitches in the zone that are good pitches to hit. And I think that's the biggest adjustment he has to make. Going through the WBC, and on top of that, having his giant contract with all these elevator, like, what are they called?
Performance clauses.
Yeah,
So.
performance clauses. Like getting a top 5 vote in MVP, getting a top 5 vote in Silver Slugger, being an all-star. Like all of those things, escalators in his contract might be in the back of his mind too. Like if I get these things done, I get paid more and I become this guy, a superstar type player that, I mean, he already is. It's just that I think he has a little bit of maturing to do. I think it's kind of a mindset thing. He still seems to have a ton of energy. I think missing out on spring training, being around the Mariners, that might have been an issue. I don't think it has to do with like being tired at this point in his life, but it's more like just the chemistry with the team. And, you know, the WBC really did throw a wrench into the preseason, I think. Like, we had 4 or 5 of our main dudes missing from our team.
And ironically enough, all of those guys are struggling right now.
Weird.
Eugenio Suarez, struggling. Matt Brash, struggling. The other Castillo. Diego Castillo is off the team. Matt Festa, off the team.
Teoscar, did he play in the WBC?
Did Teoscar?
He did. Teoscar,
Yeah.
struggling. So... And again, I mean, that's just, who knows if it's a direct correlation, but it is something that is true, that every single Mariner that played in the WBC is now struggling or just off the team entirely.
That's very interesting.
It is. And again, we don't want to shit on the WBC. It's very fun. It's great for the game of baseball. It really grows the game internationally and gets everyone involved. So, you know, no shade to the WBC, but we have to find some way for our player. I mean, I don't know what the answer is, but we have to find some way for our players to still play in that if they want to, but to still be ready for the regular season. And again, it's not for another 4 years, so we don't have to have this discussion for another 4 more years. But it'll be interesting to see 4 years from now if like we're having the same conversation of like, oh, you know, so and so played in the WBC and now he hits like shit. Like,
it really is an interesting take on why the Mariners have started slow, especially offensively. Like, you're right. Every player who was in the WBC has been struggling, and that I had not realized. So, I mean, shit, I got to hold that in the back of my mind and hope that we're going to turn it around at some point. All these guys are going to get back on track and do what they normally do. Eugenio Suarez has been pretty quiet. Teoscar Hernandez leading the league in strikeouts. Like, man, what's going on? Julio Rodriguez, just the low average, one of the worst hitters in the league along with Teoscar. Like, it's been rough, but when all three of those guys do some damage, oh my God. Like, we're going to be putting up plenty of runs when everything falls into stride here and during the summer, when we have streaks of games where the chemistry is right, the rotation is right, everyone gets their planned days off, there's no injuries. Hopefully we can just add from now on and stop subtracting, you know, pieces and go uphill. I mean, we're 9 for our last 12, starting with, the beginning game of that was the last game of the Blue Jays series. 9 for our last 12 games, and we're going for the sweep here in Detroit. They've been pretty bad, but they just came off of a sweep, and we're kicking their ass. Like, I think the Mariners are finally hitting their stride a little bit. We're getting into a little bit of a jog. We're like, hey, we're warming up. We're staying on pace with the group here, but we're heating up. I think we're ready to go here soon, and these big names on our team really do need to figure something out and help out here. So we can't just rely on our pitching all the time.
And it will be nice. The Mariners have a chance to prove themselves in the upcoming Boston series. So they have been beating up on the Tigers. Even if they lose tomorrow, that's still a road series win. And they've been beating up on a lesser team, which is what good teams are supposed to do. And then we're traveling to Boston for a series. And, you know, the AL East is really, really good. So if the Mariners can keep this kind of, I mean, it's a 2-game stretch where the hitting has been coming around and like jumping all over pitches and stuff. And if they can keep that up in the Boston series, then, you know, maybe it is like time that they finally turn that leaf. And we've said from the very beginning, the Mariners are always slow starters, just always seems to be that way. And, you know, if they can get it going sooner rather than later, it makes everyone breathe easier. And yeah, now being a game over 500, even if they do lose the series ender tomorrow in Detroit, they'll still be right at 500 and going into this tough Boston series, which is a real chance for them to show that, you know, they're not complete dog shit and that they're really, really getting better. So that's something to look forward to. We have the James Paxton matchup coming up. That will be fun to see how the Mariners do against him. And yeah, you know, there's plenty of stuff to look forward to.
Yeah, Boston has been pretty good this year, surprisingly. Like, they added some surprise pieces to their team. Yoshida is over there finally putting the bat on the ball. And Yoshida went through a streak where he did not swing and miss for like I think it was a record amount of pitches. I don't know. It was ridiculous, though, for like 80, 100 swings. Like, he didn't miss the ball. It was either a foul tip or he put the ball in play. He didn't swing and miss once for like a long stretch. So he's finally putting things together. The Red Sox are a kind of surprising good team. I mean, the East, every team in the East has been over 500.
It's a scary division.
Like, the Yankees and the Red Sox both have 22 wins, I think. It's a scary division. I will say this is going to be the real test for the Mariners going over to the East Coast, playing a team like Boston, who's been playing in good series. Like, they've been playing good teams and winning, and they have a winning culture over there. We're going to go to Atlanta after that and play the Braves, who are the best team. I mean, one of the best teams in baseball. So
it's hard to beat the Rays.
This next 2 cities stop is going to be tough.
It's gonna be a definitely difficult road trip.
We'll see what kind of things the Mariners are turning around. Like, I'm seeing a turnaround here in this series. I think the Mariners are using this series against Detroit as a way to get their mind right, have a good philosophy at the plate. I could really tell that they are trying to like have a good approach at the plate as a team. Like I've been talking about, they had to have laid out a team philosophy and been like, okay, guys, this isn't working. This is what we're doing now. Like, we're all going to do this. Not just you, not just you. Everybody has to think like this because we have to get in good counts. Make the pitcher make a mistake. That's the way you win games. We're not. So I think that's the real turnaround is the Mariners' approach at the plate. And I hope we see that again tomorrow and we kick the shit out of the Detroit Tigers because they are ass. I don't usually speak this way about Major League Baseball teams, but
they're bad.
We should definitely sweep that team. They're pretty bad, even on defense. Like, they don't look good in any aspect.
Yeah, they've had quite a few errors this series and stuff. And so, yeah, we've got the potential sweep. We've got a really tough road trip ahead with Boston and Atlanta. And hopefully we come out and end the series with a strong standing, even like going 500 on a road trip. Again, that's always good. Also, in quick other Seattle sports news, the Kraken are going to play Game 7 in their series for the playoffs against the Dallas Stars.
Yeah.
So shout out Kraken.
Let's go.
Go Kraken.
And also our Seattle Thunderbirds, who I am a massive fan of. They are currently playing in the WHL Championship, and they won tonight, so that now their series is tied 1-1, and they're coming home for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Games 3, 4, and 5 will be at the Showwear Center in Kent. If any of you guys want to catch a hockey game and you think the Kraken games are way too expensive, which they absolutely are, their prices are ridiculous, catch a Thunderbirds game.
Yep.
They're a lot of fun.
So fun.
Yeah,
Really
go
fun.
go cheer on some minor league hockey. I just love the Thunderbirds. I'm gonna be there all 3 games. I've already have my tickets bought. Owen's coming to a game with me on Friday.
Super good vibe in that building for those games. The energy is insane. It's a rocking place when that puck is dropped.
Yeah, it is phenomenal. So go cheer on.
Find
all-
Patrick, drop the Sogcast podcast name to him, and he'll probably buy you drinks or something.
Yeah, I'll buy you a beer. Yes, all Seattle sports are on the positive right now, so that's very, very good to see. Yeah, go Mariners, go Kraken, go
T-Birds.
Thunderbirds. And thank you guys all for listening. Make sure to like, comment.
Is there any final thoughts?
Yeah.
before we get to
Happy
this?
Mother's Day, everybody.
Oh, thank you so much. Yes. Shout out to all of our moms and every mom ever.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom, and everybody's moms.
Hi,
You're
Mom.
awesome.
Hey, Mom, happy Mother's Day. Thank you
reason-
so much for being such an amazing mom. I love you so much. Happy Mother's Day.
It's the reason we're all here is because we have moms. So
Moms.
Moms. Shout out to all the moms out there. I hope you guys have a great and amazing Mother's Day. Thank you so much for everything you've done for us, and we love you guys all so much. So thank you, and make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify. You know where to find us. Reach out to us, leave us a comment, and we'll reach out to you. And if you ever have any topics you want us to talk about, feel free to hit them up, and we'll bring them up on the show. Thank you guys all so much. We love you, moms, and go Mariners!
And Mom.
And mom.